What's up, everybody? Hey, Tom Laird here, host of the Advice from a Call Center Geek podcast and founder of Expivia. For exceptional contact center outsourcing, trust Expivia. We're fully AI-driven, as all of you know, and can handle voice, email, chat, and all of your digital channels. Our 600-seat USA contact center is expert in healthcare, financial services, insurance, tech support, retail, and more. Experts on the NICE CX1 platform, we ensure seamless customer experiences. DM me or visit expiviausa.com for more.
This is Advice from a Call Center Geek, a weekly podcast with a focus on all things call center. We'll cover it all from call center operations, hiring, culture, technology, and education. We're here to give you actionable items to improve the quality of yours and your customers' experience. This is an evolving industry with creative minds and ambitious people like this guy. Not only is his passion call center operations, but he's our host. He's the CEO of Expivia Interaction Marketing Group and the Call Center Geek himself, Tom Laird.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Advice from a Call Center Geek, the call center and contact center podcast. We try to give you some actionable items to take back in your contact center, improve their overall quality, improve the agent experience, hopefully improve the customer experience as well. My name is Tom Laird. I am the CEO of Expivia Interaction Marketing. Expivia is a 600-seat call center outsourcer, a BPO, located here in northwestern Pennsylvania. What's up, everybody? Just got back in the office from a week at CCW. I still call it Call Center Week. Last podcast that I did from Vegas, if you want to check it out, I have some thoughts on, I think I called it the good, the bad, and what's missing from CCW. And as a quick lead into that, if you are not following me on LinkedIn, please do. Just had a big post today where I talk about this October. I really want to get as many of you guys involved with me to do, at least for the first year, a virtual 1 or 2 day call center, contact center operations online conference where we can bring together not just some of the best voices in the space, but I want to hear from some of you too, right? I want to hear from that 35-seat call center in Iowa that maybe you're doing some amazing things with how you're training or how you're routing calls, right? A hardcore contact center operations where it's not pay to play, right? Where we can all come together, learn from each other, do it totally for free, and hopefully, if this can get any traction, maybe to do something where we could do a live show, get 1 or 2 sponsors, don't have any vendors, but just have a 1 or 2 day kind of think tank where we can all kind of come together, hear people talk, and see how we can improve our contact centers overall. So if any of you are interested in that, please check out, first of all, my LinkedIn. There's more information on that, or just email me. It's tlaird@expivia, expivia.net. Or just DM me on LinkedIn and I'll get you on the list. There's probably about 25 people already that said, hey, I'm interested in doing something with this. So I'm excited for it. And let's try to do something. I say for contact center operators, by contact center operators. So, okay, let's get into the topic of today. And I get a ton of questions on our, every Friday I do just an AMA and ask me anything from 1 to 2 o'clock Eastern on LinkedIn Live. And one of the biggest questions that I'm getting in my email on those AMAs is, what do we do, or what are some tips to do during a recession or an economic downturn? What are some things we can do in our contact center to make sure things are still running smoothly, make sure things are going well? Is there any changes that we need to think about? So I have 7 kind of things or 7 topics that I want to talk to you guys about. Some of them I think are pretty obvious, and then I think some of them are not. And love to get your thoughts on and feedback on this. But these are some of the things that we do in our contact center. We've been through a lot of ups and downs with the economy, and it looks like we're heading, hopefully not, but it looks like we're heading for another downturn, and want to make sure that we're prepared. So let's get into this. So the number one thing is, a lot of you guys will still have budget, right? Still have budget for technology, and what are some of the things that you should be focused on? And in my experience with this is while quality is always number one, be careful of just looking at quality products right now during a downturn. I would stick more and look at if you have the choice between efficiency and kind of quality or those type of tools. I would lean towards efficiency. So you're talking about WFM, maybe a QA tool. I know that's quality, but I think that gets you more efficient as well. And I think it's a core piece of your business. How are you routing calls? Is the processes that you guys have in place, is that right? Looking at adding other channels like email, chat. I think that those are really important. Looking at your self-service model. Do you have a self-service model? That can be really good technology that can make you more efficient, because let's be honest, we have to really be careful about our head count, right? Because that's by far the most expensive thing we have in all of our contact centers is the people. They're the most important. But when push comes to shove and things are really going south, we have to really be careful with how we're staffing. That's why I love WFM, especially during these parts of, or these times during a downturn. All right, the next thing is upgrade internally, and this isn't done enough, right? But the management that you have on your floor, the supervisors, the team leads, whoever is playing around or utilizing your contact center, your telephony software. I love to get them at least once or twice into a room. What do you guys do in this circumstance or that circumstance? And I guarantee you're going to have 4 or 5 different ways that some of your supervisors are doing it. And 1 or 2 of them are going to be like, wow, that's really cool, right? That just one little decision or one little talk can instantly make your whole contact center more efficient. You didn't have to ask permission. You didn't have to get more budget, right? But to really get your supervisors involved, whoever is dealing with your telephony platform, and try to make little improvements to efficiency from the internal contact center, I think is something that can really, really be an added value to you and literally cost you absolutely nothing. All right, number 3 is something that you're going to think I'm crazy about. But when we have economic downturns, the number one salary we have is people. But when you look at the people, the training costs for onboarding are by far the most expensive, especially for a BPO, right? Because a lot of times with attrition, we have to actually pay, the customer, the client doesn't pay for any attrition training. So if we lose 5 people on a program or 10 people, we have to backfill that, and it's on our dime to train it. So for us, and I would argue for internal centers as well, that is one of the most expensive times during your call center. So you want to limit that. And how do you limit that? One of the ways is we actually raise our salaries a bit during economic downturns. It does 2 things. Number 1, it keeps people loyal to us because they can kind of see what we're doing. And number 2, I'm telling you, it's a plus when it comes to the top line, because you are not having to train consistently and constantly during this, right? So you don't want to lose people during economic downturns. You don't want to train. So you do everything you can to keep that core group that you have, make them as happy as you possibly can. And I think that's a huge, huge deal when it comes to actually saving money in your contact center, keeping your headcount that you have, keeping your quality up. That's something that you don't think about. Normally think of the other way. We got to lay people off. We got to lower our rates. But I would argue that you need to do the opposite. That's something that I think has been a kind of a special, maybe a little bit of a trick that we've always done that has definitely helped us keep our people and make sure that they're happy during this. Going with that is motivations and engagement, right? You got to engage more. You got to do more things. Even your motivations can change a little bit, right? Maybe they're just cash, and everybody loves cash. So if you're doing that, that's fine. But some of the things like gas cards and groceries, things like that, I think really resonate well with reps, and kind of again get them to really endear themselves to your organization. And it shows that you're thinking about some of the pain points that they're going through as well, instead of just giving them like, I don't know, maybe McDonald's or any of those are good too. But I think when you can focus on the core needs, I think that's really important during these times. Number 5 is more when it comes to talking to customers. And I would say that this is a huge time where you really need to beef up your retention efforts, right? So where you're making sure that you're training, if you have a customer service program where people can call in and cancel, that you're doing everything you possibly can to beef your agents up to be able to handle those type of calls, that you understand if you need how many downsells or how that's going to work for you. And I think that becomes a major KPI during economic downturns, right? So sales might not be there, right? But it's hang on Sloopy, right? As much as you possibly can, and try to really beef up all of your retention efforts for when customers are trying to cancel. Number 6 And I truthfully believe in this. This is not a sales pitch. You guys know I really don't sell, but I think outsourcing is a huge way to get through economic downturns, because you're not going to be able to afford or purchase or have all of that technology that you're probably going to need, right? You're not going to be able, it might be 2 years before you can really, your company gets out of where they are to be able to beef up where it needs to be. And also from a rep standpoint, to not have to pay, right, that salary, right, to not have to pay the vacation, to not have to pay the PTO, all of those things can kind of be taken away and I think improved if you find the right outsourcer, right? So again, even if it's short term, a year, 2-year contract, things like that, I think it's important to look at, or at least have a portion of your volume with an outsourcer. So if you do get hit, if people start quitting, if there's just a huge issue that you have with your reps, that you have kind of that backup as well. And the last thing I think too is to really focus on your internal training, right? This is a time where, again, you're probably not going to be doing a lot of purchases. You're trying to do everything you can to keep your people, right? So let's make sure that you have a management training program. And if you don't, now's the perfect time to start to get that in place. We did a full episode. I've done probably multiple episodes on management training programs and some things that you can do. So check those episodes out. But I think that, that's a really important piece of this as well, to engage and to keep your people, but also to make sure that they're handling their people properly. So again, if you can stay as efficient as you can, you look at the products that are efficient, right? If you are upgrading internally by making sure that you're talking to your management team, the supervisors, how are you guys doing things? How can we do things a little bit better? Get some really good ideas from that team. I believe that, raise your salary. We're not talking about huge increases, but, to be like, hey guys, I feel your pain. We're going to get you to here. I think that is a really important thing, because again, you do not want to be doing a ton of onboarding and a ton of training, during these times. Number 4 is make sure your motivations and your engagement, your employee engagement is on point. Making sure that the motivations that you give, I love to kind of tie them into what's going on with the economy to try to help people out where they need it. Number 5 is focusing on your retention efforts, right? Making sure that your reps are beefed up. I would say that is a main KPI that you need to hold dear, and make sure that you're tracking that. Number 6 is look to outsource either some or all of your contact center. I think that's a big piece. And I know most of you probably can't or won't do that, but for some of you who are thinking about it, it's just a good time to do. I guess that's kind of really what I'm saying with it. And the last thing is focus on your internal training, focus on your management training, where these are the times when you can, I don't want to say sometimes take a breath, but you can really focus on some things, because there's not going to be a lot of investment, a lot of new things happening in your call center. So make your old things new. I think that's a really good kind of vibe to kind of hold with this. So again, that's 7. I'll have more on this, I'm sure, as I go and we kind of go through this, but those are some of the things that I do, that we handle here at Expivia. And I think some tips that hopefully can add some value to you guys as we all kind of go through this crazy thing together. So again, if you're not following me, please check me out on LinkedIn. Please follow me. We also have the Call Center Tips and Tactics group on LinkedIn, which if you have any issues or questions on your contact center, we'll have somebody in there that can always answer. And then also every Friday from 1 to 2 o'clock Eastern time, check me out on LinkedIn. I go live, and it's an AMA. So ask me any question you have on your contact center. We can do it confidentially, or you can, we can kind of post you up there as well. So again, thank you guys very much. I hope that adds some value, and I'll talk to you guys next week.